All right, Giants fans, I'm going to preach this every week for the rest of the year. This is going to be our slogan for the channel, okay? So we have a time to celebrate and we're going to have a time to mourn. Obviously, we haven't had a time to celebrate at all this year. But we can't keep getting so down on ourselves, and we have to start looking at solutions. So we've all had a few days to digest what happened on Sunday versus the Commanders. We've had time to dissect every frame of film from this team, from that game. We'll start putting things together, okay? Because we all know the Giants have talent. We went into this year not expecting the Giants to go 0-17. We were expecting 8-9 wins. Some people were even projecting 10+ wins. And why not? We had the head coach of the year. Not last year, but he's proven that he's a capable head coach. We gave him a lot of excuses last year due to injuries. We have the offensive line. We made investments in that area of our offense during the offseason. We prioritized that. We let Saquon walk because of that. We bring in a number one wide receiver in Malik Nabers. Okay, and Daniel Jones, for all of his faults last year, you could have attributed that to the lackluster offensive line that we had last year, and that's putting it nicely. We almost broke records how many sacks we allowed last year. And Daniel Jones paid the price for it. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing really through preseason, through the first 2 games of this year. I mean, last week looked better, right? But how much do you contribute that to the Washington secondary and Malik Nabers just being, total mismatches? But no matter what kind of competition you're going up against, no matter what kind of weapons you have on your own offense, that was a confidence booster. I think that is a spark, even though we lost the game. I think that's a spark for Daniel Jones to realize that, hey, he has the protection around him. He has the wide receivers that are able to get separation. He has a head coach that, mind you, has flaws, specifically in utilizing more personnel of this offense. It doesn't have to all just rely on Malik Nabers. He has the ability to scheme players open on this offense. You saw it last week versus Washington. He was able to scheme Malik Nabers open the entire game. 18 targets. 18 targets to Malik Nabers, and he brought down 10 of them. And that's part of Malik's God-given ability, and that's also a part of game plan. So we have the pieces on offense. We have the protection. We have the weapons. We have a quarterback that we're really trying to uplift and build confidence with. Because when he succeeds, we succeed. So I've said in the past, this Giants team and particularly the offense looks like it's so hard to watch. It's almost like pulling teeth. And it really doesn't have to be that way. Let's start putting some of these things together. Let's start growing as a team instead of just a bunch of individuals on the field. We're not just the New York Malik Nabers. We're not the New York Daniel Jones. We're not even the New York Brian Dabols. Let's all start working together and allowing our talents complement each other and allowing our weaknesses to be covered up by our teammates and our scheme. And that's why Giants fans are so frustrated and they are so passionate about this team. But yet, year after year, we just keep feeling like we're getting let down, even though in personnel, we feel like we're making the right decisions. We're investing in the right spots on the team. We're investing in the offensive line. We're trading high round picks to get edge rushers, a very, very important position in the sport of football. Okay, we're not paying running backs. We're not paying safeties. We're supplementing those in the draft. We're supplementing those in free agency. You can see the process and you understand the end goal. You understand the process. You know why we're making the moves that we're making. And as Giants fans, we know what it takes to succeed. Okay, we are a premier franchise. I know it doesn't seem like it because this last decade has been a total crapshoot, a dumpster fire. But we are a premier franchise. This is what it takes to win. You build your offensive line. Like I said, you invest. That's where you invest your capital. Okay, you beef up your defensive line. Okay, we signed Dexter Lawrence. We have Kayvon Thibodeau. We wasted or used a number 5 overall pick for. Okay, we traded for Brian Burns. We're building in the trenches. Now, are they totally finished projects or products? No. But we can't be a microwave generation and think that these it's going to be instant success. I understand that. Most Giants fans understand that. We were very understanding we've been through a lot of new head coaches, and usually the first year is a mulligan. Like get a feel for it. Understand what you have so you know how to build the future. And so far with this team, I've agreed basically with every decision that they've made. Even though as a fan, sometimes it can be, it could be disappointing watching, players like Saquon Barkley walk out the building. But we have Devin Singletary now, and he's averaging more yards a carry behind a worse offensive line with the Giants than Saquon is with a better offensive line with the Eagles. So I feel like that was the right decision. Giants fans had a lot of expectations coming into this year because we can see how the team was being built. And I think a lot of Giants fans are slowly approaching apathy with this team because it seems like we always make the right decisions. Almost like the Mets, always make, or even the Jets, always make the right decisions. But it just never seems to work out. And that's why Giants fans are so frustrated. But let's take these pieces that we've spent the last 3+ years acquiring, draft, free agency, trades, and let's put them together. For a coaching staff that was as highly thought of coming out of their first year, there was so much creativity, there was so much innovation. I felt like we were always prepared. No matter what players we had on our team, we knew that this coaching staff was going to get the most out of them. Over the last 2 years, or last year and the start of this year, I haven't felt that way. Particularly this year. It's a pretty rough start. But I know that this coaching staff is capable of getting the most out of this roster. And it sucks losing someone like Wink Martindale. I feel like if we have Wink Martindale last week, we win that game hands down. But Shane Bowen's defense is a bend, don't break defense. Now it's a little bit more bend and a little less break. But let's give him some time. Defenses typically start off slower than the offense. Let's give them a few more weeks to see what they have. Let's see how Shane Bowen kind of sees live game reps and then puts those pieces together in a way that works. But and again, on defense, it's not just going to be the Shane Bowen. It's going to be the individual players too, these cornerstone pieces that we brought in to be franchise players. I see some players doing that. And I also see other players that have been nothing but big disappointments. Let's put it together. Let's put these pieces together. That's why it's so frustrating, because you know what we have as a Giants fan or as just an NFL fan. If you keep up with the Giants offseason, you see the moves that we make, you see the players that we bring in. It always seems like it's the right move. It's nothing that's ever really questionable when you really get down into it, beneath surface level stuff, like people being mad about Saquon. Well, I understand he's your favorite player, but like I said again, New York Giants, not the New York Saquons. That made sense. And it doesn't look like we're really losing any production from someone like Devin Singletary. And we all need to start working together as a team, because we are way too talented to be floundering as much as we are, to be gasping for breath as much as we are. For Brian Daboll to be, staring down reporters and reporters asking him if he's worried about his job. And we've seen Brian Daboll get more out of less. Whether it's just some weird New York Giants curse that we have because we sold our souls for those 2 Super Bowls. Maybe it's just going to take some time for these guys to gel. We've heard Joe Shane mention that, in the preseason press conference. There were a lot of question marks going into the year about, the secondary or the offensive line, defensive line, things like that. And he said that, hey, it's probably going to take some time for these guys to gel. I think it's time to start gelling. The tutorial segment of the season is over. We have to start winning games. I don't want to end up like having the number 1 overall pick this year. Because looking at our schedule ahead, we have the Browns this week. We have primetime Dallas. We have Seattle, and then the Eagles, and then the Steelers. Like, we could be looking at a team that's 0-10. Really, the only team that I'm looking at on our schedule that I feel realistically we can beat is the Panthers, and they feel the exact same way about us. And who knows, maybe Andy Dalton coming in there will, revitalize that whole team. And maybe they show massive improvement just by making a switch like that. I feel like this last week against the Commanders specifically, we've demonstrated that offensively we're able to move the ball. And it's up to our defense now to, especially Shane Bowen. This has got to be key for situational awareness. When it's a tie game and you are playing a rookie quarterback and he has a minute and 40 seconds to get in field goal range, why aren't you pressuring him every time? He already proved through that whole game that he didn't want to throw deep. I think like 90% of Jaden Daniels' throws were behind the line of scrimmage. Why didn't you crowd the line of scrimmage? Why didn't you make him beat you with his arm? Why were we playing like 20, 30 yards back? Because by that point, then it took him like 3 runs to get into field goal range. We have the personnel. Just put it together. So we have to have more situational awareness. We have to know where we are in the field. We have to know who our opponent is. We can't give up points on every drive. We're going to have to give this offense more opportunities to score. We can't let opposing offenses take up an entire quarter more play time than our offense does. We're never going to win that way. I understand bend, don't break, but we can't bend so much that we leave literally nothing on the table for our offense. We have to give our offense opportunities. And Brian Daboll, you have to start showing more diversity in your play calling. We have a lot of weapons on this offense. We have players like Jalen Hyatt, Theo Johnson, Daniel Bellinger, that, especially Theo Johnson and Daniel Bellinger, you say that, you need them to block. They're on the field to block. Well, then why did we invest so much into this offensive line if you're still going to require a 2 tight end set in order to block properly? You need to start using these guys as receiving threats. We need to start attacking every area of the field using tight ends, running backs, receivers. Let's start being more like how we were in 2022 and less of how we were in 2023. Let's fit these pieces that we have on this team, these cornerstone pieces, this improved offensive line, this improved pass rush, And let's cook something that makes some noise this season, because the ingredients are there. And Brian Daboll, as the head coach, I expect you to cook. We had a lot of faith in you coming out of 2022. I want to believe in you again, because I know that's what's best for the team. I don't want to have to restart. I don't want to have to get a whole new head coach, a whole new general manager. And Shane Bowen, I expect you to utilize the pieces that are on this defense. There's no excuses to be playing the style of defense that we are with the pieces that we have. Yes, we have our secondary isn't the strongest, but is it the worst? No, it's not the worst. And a good pass rush can supplement issues in the back end. It all starts in the trenches. If these players don't fit, quote unquote, your scheme, then fuck your scheme. Throw it out the window. Get something that works. Because you're not going to bleed this team fucking dry, drive after drive, eating up so much of the clock, where our offense doesn't even have a chance to grow, doesn't have a chance to score, doesn't have a chance to improve. This game coming up on Sunday is going to be won by our defense. If this defense isn't able to stop Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Deshaun Watson, then our offense isn't going to be able to keep up with the Cleveland defense. We're going to need our defense to step up this Sunday. You're going to have to step up and give our offense opportunities, because that's what everybody expected coming into this year. That was the reality. We have some monsters on this defense. You're telling me you can't make any of it work. You can't get one stop on third down. You can't cause 1 3 and out. Let's put everything together. Let's come together as a team. Let's do an autopsy of ourselves. Find out what works, find out what doesn't work, build trust, build a connection. And let's play as a team and not a bunch of individuals. Because the team's built for it. The pieces are there. Now you just got to go make something of it. And I'll be here after the game on Sunday, win, lose, or draw, and I'm going to give my thoughts about this team. Hopefully we're talking about a victory and not a defeat. Because this is the part of the schedule where the tutorial is over. All the mock drafts, or not mock drafts, all of the record predictions coming out before the year, they had us beating the Vikings and the Commanders. And then this was going to be the hard part of our schedule. So if we couldn't beat those teams, this is going to be David versus Goliath. So we can either, crack, break, let the pressure get to us, or we can just bunker down as a team and get results. Because talking's over. The offseason's over. Preseason is over. This is the season. And it's not slowing down. So you can let it run you over, or you can push back. Let's push back and let's show some fight this Sunday against Cleveland. And I'm going to leave it here. If you guys like the video, go down, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what your expectations are for this Sunday. And let me know what you think is the Giants' biggest problem. Because there's a lot of opinions going around in Giants land right now, and I'd love to hear yours. But until then, you guys have a good one. Peace.